Hello guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. So in today's video, we're going to be working on our Lexer again. Now, I was half and half about whether to continue with the series, but I seen a comment that kind of motivated me. Somebody who's actually watching the videos, following along, and that's what this video is for. So, you know, if you are somebody who's watching this and following step by step about how to create a Lexer, and hopefully I'm explaining it with, you know, some sort of sense, then great. That's what we're here for. So the first thing that we're going to want to do then is, well, first of all, check what files, because I haven't done this since Saturday now, so my memory's a bit fuzzy. So let's go to nvim, and we want to go into our main.c file. So this is where we're running all our tests, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of leave this as it is, but I want to do another test. I've uploaded this repo to GitHub as well, so that's where you can see the little plus icon on the side. So let's write a comment about what it is that we want to do. So I want to write let, and again, I'm following along with the book. I'd recommend that you would too. So we effectively just want to check that we can get assigned variables. So we want to do let 5 equal 5. We're going to do let 10 equals 10. We're also going to do let, this is where we're going to create our first function, let add equals fn, which is very weird how this is styled, but we're just going to go with it. We're going to follow along with the book. If I was to make my own language, I probably wouldn't have functions written this way. Oh, I mean, talk about making my own programming language. I can't even type on a keyboard. Right, okay. X and space Y. Space Y? I don't know if that's necessary. Yes, no, we'll do that. And then we want to do, in brackets, braces, X plus Y. Shocking. X plus Y, and then we're going to do semicolon, I think, to finish it off. Yeah. So that's effectively what we're going to run our tests for. So what I might do, just to save time, is I'm going to copy the code from above, because that is what we need effectively. And then we are going to write the tests out. It will take time, okay, because you have to write out all the token types. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do that now. I'm going to pause the video, get that done, and then I will just, you know, effectively show you guys so you can just copy and do the exact same if you wish. Right, okay, so already made a mistake, but that's fine. I caught it very quickly, thankfully. So it was hard enough for me to catch it, really. Effectively, we have a lot of tokens for this one, so I'm just going to read them out and you can kind of follow along. But the first thing I've got to say is I left out the semicolon inside here, so please make sure you add that. Don't worry too much about the white space, because we're going to create the function that will eat the white space, meaning effectively, like, say if we have let double space 5 equal double space 5, then that won't really matter. It will effectively get rid of the white space for us. So we'll skip the white space. So we can do that later. And I also forgot to add in the last part, which is let result equal add 5, 10. Okay, so effectively creating effectively saying the result of this is our function 5 add 10. So it's quite a nice little test. This will really make sure if we got everything working. So yeah, we've got to get working on that then. Just got to double check that I got all the token types with me so you can kind of follow along. So we need let, ident, assign, int, semicolon, let, ident, assign, int, semicolon, assign, int, semicolon, let, ident again, assign function, left paren, ident, comma, right paren. Okay, where's the comma? So in here I need to add in token type. See, it's always a good thing to double check this sort of stuff. This is why you'll get a few errors come up, but I mean, realistically speaking, you should be able to figure them out. The only thing that's tricky about doing it in C and doing it the way I'm doing is I think with the testing framework, it'll come up kind of neat errors that will help you identify where you've gone wrong. So that's quite nice, but again, you know, it's just something I need to add in. Oh no, comma ident. Comma ident, so it'd be comma ident, or ident, comma ident, r paren, left brace again, Where are we? Left brace, ident, plus, ident, semicolon, let, ident, assign, ident, left paren ident, comma. It's going to be an identifier again, and then a right parentheses and a semicolon. I haven't added in end of file because it worked fine last time. I don't know if that's something, maybe a mistake I haven't picked up on yet. We'll get around to that after. But effectively, this is what we're doing. Let's add in the last bit. So we're going to do let result, result equals add 5, 10. And that's it. Okay, so this is going to be, again, a really cool test if we can get it working. It's a bit tricky, the first part, actually. So we've got to go to our switch case statement, and we have to add in if it's a letter or not. So effectively, if it's a letter, we're going to call readIdentifier, which is going to effectively, it's a tricky way to do it, right? It's not, this isn't a C-specific way of doing things, but it's still a bit hard, at least for me, it was hard to get my mind wrapped around. Effectively, you have to create a new variable called position, and we're going to set the Lexer position to equal that. We're going to say while isLetter, which is going to be another function that we're going to create, is a character. Then we're going to do read char. I'm going to keep on doing that. So effectively, and when we get in a letter, we're going to keep on reading. And what we're going to do then is effectively work out what the position is, and all we're going to do is send back a pointer to where the identifier is, effectively, which sounds a bit confusing at the moment. It sounds very confusing to me because I haven't done this again since I've done it in Go a while ago. So nonetheless, I'm going to save this, and I'll see you guys in the next clip where we're going to be looking at readIdentifier and isLetter. And once we get that working, we are nearly there. One thing that I want to do as well is possibly do the eat space function. And again, I don't know whether we'll get this test working in this episode. I can't promise that, but we'll get more or less the main stuff working. But we'll figure that out now. Right, so let's give this a little go then, okay? We want to go to our lexer.c file now. So again, this is where we're going to be effectively creating a readIdentifier function, and that function then can be used in our case statement above to effectively return a identifier based on the value. Now we are going to have to work out later, because of course all this is doing, remember, all this is doing is when it encounters a character, it's going to effectively keep track of the pointer to that to the char array or the character array. Okay, so effectively it's going to allow us to breeze over it, and then what we should be able to do after is check whether or not that string, the pointer to that string that we are going to return, we're going to check whether it, or what type of token it is. So we're going to check if it's a function, if it's a let, if it's a identifier, whatever. Okay, now do I know what I'm doing? Not entirely at this point, but we'll hopefully figure it out. So what we're going to do is we are going to return a const char array. I don't know if this is even the best place to put it at the moment, in all honesty with you, but we're returning a string, okay, and we're going to call it readIdentifier. Maybe I'll even read a part of the book just to see if we can make sense of this. readIdentifier, and inside here we are going to pass through two things contrary to the book. We're going to pass a Lexer, and we'll call that L, and we're also going to return it will pass through a size t. I feel like we've got to do that, and I don't know why yet. We'll figure that out now. Again, looking at examples online, hopefully I can figure it out. We'll see. Right, so the first thing we've got to do, which is pretty straightforward, is we have to create a size t, size t called position. Now, as I understand it, this is going to track where we are in our in the input that we pass through. So we're going to set that to null, or are we going to set it to 0, I think? Or null, I'm not sure at the moment. We'll call it null. Maybe I'll change my mind on that shortly. And then what we want to do is we want to do while, and again, we're going to have to create another function here, but we're going to say while isLetter, and we're going to pass through our Lexer or L char. And inside here then, oops, okay, I'm fed up of that happening. Okay, this is ridiculous now. Inside here, what are we doing? There we are. We're going to read char and, of course, pass through our Lexer. So that should be that in theory. But of course, things aren't always that simple. What we need to do is effectively, there's something else we need to do. We need to work out, so we need to go through the char array, go through our input and effectively count it. So every time we go through, we're going to, so I feel like we've got to do something here where it will be position or L, or maybe, right, okay, in the book it's done L position. Did I do it? I thought I done capital letter. Right, L position. So maybe we can just do that. And then we have to do something along the lines of, so in the book they just return an input. Right, okay, we need to do position. Should have thought this through a bit better before doing this. It's going to be L. No. Position equals L position minus position. Now that's not entirely right. I've done something wrong here. Position. Why is it? I know it's doing that actually, but position. I just can't spell. Right. So I think that's right. And then we will return, I think we return this actually. I think. Right, we've done something wrong here, but I just can't figure out what it is yet. So we'll come on to this later, why we need to pass through length. Right, I'm just going to double check what I've done here before moving on, because I don't want to continue until, I mean, what I could do is quite literally just so we can check this as well. Right, we're going to take in our Lexer, or return, no, what are we going to return? A character, I suppose. So would return a character, or actually, okay, this is interesting. So it's returning a Boolean value. Now I don't know if I've got the standard Boolean library, so I'll have to add that in. I think it's stdbool, I'm not sure. We'll have a look at that now. So we need to return a Boolean value, and we're going to call it isLetter, and isLetter will take in a char, and we'll call that, and we're going to effectively return. Now, again, this is probably something that is special in C as well. I believe it's going to work the same, at least I'm counting on it working the same as it would in Go. So effectively, if it's between A to Z, lowercase, I believe that's right. Or, right, okay, just to save me some time. or if it's a capital letter. Okay, we're nearly there with this, so bear with me, sorry about this. And then if it's, okay, in the book they also do, if it's an underscore as well, they're allowing it, so you can decide whether or not that's okay for you in your language. For the sake of just keeping it similar to the book, I'm also going to do the same. I think that's it. Now, pretty sure we have to put a semicolon there, and we're going to get a bunch of errors, I'm sure. So Boolean is not recognized, so we're going to have to figure that out. isLetter is not recognized, but that's because I haven't defined it before. So let's do that really quickly, because that'll be an easy fix. So let's do bool isLetter, which is taken in a jar, and that should be fine. L position, spelling mistakes because of the new keyboard, no excuses though. Right, incompatible. So yeah, again, I trying to think what I need to return view. Maybe it'll be okay. Again, I knew there was something wrong with that, but let's see if we can add in the Boolean library here first. So let's do include. Forget what it is now. Is it bool? std bool. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is just the Boolean library, so we'll get that in. Okay, awesome stuff. Right, okay, so now, hopefully, it's just this issue. Okay, so let's have a little think this through then. So we're going to return a const char readIdentifier. We're taking in our Lexer, we're taking in a length. The size t is position is equal to L read position, or L position, sorry, and then we're saying while isLetter L, the current character, which is under examination, we're just going to keep on reading it. Now, we haven't incremented the value of that, so I don't know if like we have to do something like, or equivalent to, position ++, maybe. I'm trying to think what I need to do. It's hard off the top of my head. So on the and especially in the box, it's very different. It's literally passing through the position. It's returning L input position to. Right. I think I've figured it out. I think I'm not sure. So what we got to do is if length, then we want to do position equals, L position, minus position. See if I spelled that right. I seem to have a habit of spelling that wrong. Yeah, so that's fine. Now we do the opposite then for this, which is return plus. Now I think if I do this, should remove the error. No, it's not. Okay, still don't know what it's doing then. Effectively, the length is going to track. So in our switch case statement, we're going to have something that will track the length. We're going to call isLetter within our within our case statement, and we're reusing it again here. But I'm gonna have to debug this. So to save you the horror of watching me debug this, I'm just gonna kind of figure out, and I'll come back again. Right. Okay. This is something that I realize I've done wrong. So let's do that. Still getting an issue, and I don't know what's wrong. Let's try this. Okay, I really don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Incompatible integer. Okay, I'm just stuck. I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm an idiot. I am stupid. I am so stupid. Right, let's try that now. Oh, right, okay. I even had to use ChatGPT to debug that because I just couldn't get my head wrapped around it. Right, when you're staring at a problem for so long, sometimes it's probably best to walk away. I just decided to use AI to help me with that one. Right, so let me try and explain this as best as I can then, okay? readIdentifier, it's going to take in the Lexer, it's going to take in a length. The length is going to be something we'll talk about later when we come to a switch case statement. Hopefully in this episode, maybe not, because time's getting on, the amount of time we spent debugging, but we'll come to that another time. We're creating a new variable called position. Position is going to be equal to whatever the position is in our current Lexer. We're saying while isLetter, just keep on reading the characters. Why do I feel like I'm missing something? I don't know if I am a second. Oh, right, we're not actually. No, I know what we're doing. Right, okay. ReadChar is going to effectively keep on incrementing or keep on adding up the position. So what we do then is we're saying the length is effectively the position minus the starting position. So for example, if we starting off, position will be 0. Let's say it's going to be like the first thing in our test. It'll be let. Let is going to be a position 0. So position and L position are both going to be at 0. It's going to keep on calling readChar until we're done with letters, and it'll be L position minus wherever the position was. In the case, if it's the first thing, it will be 0. I don't know if I've explained that well, but that's effectively what we're doing. And then we're returning the input plus the position. So we're effectively saying wherever the input is plus the position. So we're effectively skipping over whatever the identifier was. Well, returning back effectively. We're returning to the calling program, the calling function, sorry, the position advanced past the identifier. And we're going to deal with the identifier in our case statement. Right, finally. Now, something that I also realized from the example that I was following online is the fact that they were using uint8. And as I understand it, uint8 can be used purely because if you return a value, it will always return a 1. I didn't know that, but there we go. I've decided to use bool. I'm going to stick to that, providing I don't get any issues. Right, so now that that's done, we've got our readIdentifier function. We've got our isLetter function. All we need to do now is go to our case statement. Right, I'm going to put the book down for this part because I feel like it's not going to be related to the book at all. Okay, so what we need to do is if read if isLetter, and then we'll do L char. Then what we're going to do is we are going to effectively, what are we going to do? I don't know. We need to check if it's a letter. We're going to check if our Lexer, the current character under examination is a character. We need to do a few things here. We need to create the size variable, which is what's going to be sent back from our function that we just created. So let's do that first. So we're going to do size t length, and we're going to set that value. What am I doing? Currently to is, okay, I need to add that function to the top as well. I've made a mess of this so far. We're going to set it to 0. And we're going to create a literal value. So we're going to do const, I don't even know if it needs to be const here, but we're going to do const char array, and we're going to call it literal. And we're going to set this value to equal null. And the reason why we're going to do that is we're going to assign the identifier to the literal shortly. Now there's another function we have to create, and again, thank God for somebody already doing this, because I would take ages, and I haven't got ages to do this. Not that I haven't got ages, I could spend ages on this, but it just really helps if someone's already kind of figured out a lot of the stuff, or a lot of the C-isms that we talked about previously, and done a lot of the legwork. That's great. So as I understand it, all we need to do now is call our, I think we can do this now, so we'll say, we can pass through, in fact, I feel like we've already done this wrong. Again, we're going to have to check. Right, I actually was on track. It's just I got confused because we created two functions, isLetter and read. My head's not with it today, guys. Apologize. Right, so what we want to do is do const char similar to this, and this time we're going to call it ident. And what we want to do is call our function, which was readIdent. I thought it was called readIdent. What did I call it? readIdentifier. Okay, why was that not coming up then as a recognized function? That was very strange. Is it because I haven't... Okay, we'll worry about that now. readIdentifier, okay, it's working now, and we need to pass through our Lexer, which called it L, and we also want to pass through the address of length. Right, now this is where I'm tempted to leave it for tonight because I know there's a few more things that I need to do. What I need to do is I need to create a new function which is going to check. It's effectively just going to be a case statement or an if-else statement, whatever you want to call it, or whatever we're going to do, I don't know yet, where we're going to effectively check which token type it's going to be. So we're going to say if it's equal to, I don't think we have Boolean values at the moment, so we don't need to worry about that. But if it's equal to let, then it's going to be token type let. If it's going to be equal to function, there's going to be, no, fn, whatever we called it. I think it's just fn in the tests. Then we want to return token type function, and then so on. Okay, we haven't got Boolean values yet, but that would be another instance in which we would need to match our token with a particular bit of text. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think for now it's probably a good place to leave it, and I think I need to kind of take a little bit of a break because I am not thinking straight. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this code to GitHub. So if you're following along with the videos and you're enjoying them, then go ahead, check it out, make changes, pull it, do whatever you want with it, and hopefully you guys can get some use out of that code. Okay, welcome back to another part of this series where we're going to be finishing off from, say, last episode. Didn't really call it last episode because effectively I didn't have time to finish this off. So we're going to try and do that in this part now, the second part of the fourth episode or wherever we're on. So effectively what we want to do, something I just added in there, or removed, sorry, is token const literal. It doesn't need to be const, it just needs to be called literal. What we're going to do here is we're going to create a token type token, and we will effectively pass through a new function which we haven't yet created, which is effectively going to allow us to map our string or whatever it is to a particular token type. And by string I mean, of course, if it's a function, if it's a let, if it's an identifier, whatever it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it LookupIdent, because that is what they call it in the book. So keep things again as consistent as always. Lookup, let's make sure I'm doing this right. LookupIdent, and we're going to pass through the we're going to pass through the identifier, and we're also going to pass through a don't know what we're going to pass through here. We're going to pass through the length as well. And then what we need to do then is effectively, I'll try and fill this in as best as I can without, of course, getting it completely done. We want to say if the type is equal to token type ident, then what we're going to do is something in here which I'm not going to do for now. But effectively what we want to say is if it is a token type, then we want to do str string duplicate, and then we want to do something here which at the moment I can't figure out what it is, but we'll come to that as of when and where we need to. Right, so we have to create this function then, LookupIdent, which we'll create all the way at the bottom. Just save time, let's do this. Oops. Okay, right, so okay, that's strange. Don't know what's doing that. Bool isLetter, conflicting types for isLetter. Okay, no, it shouldn't be the case. Although I think I should probably define that at the very top, because we would have used that in the case statement as well. So maybe that's where the error is coming from. Okay, so if I do that, so bool isLetter, and we're going to pass through a character. So we shouldn't have any issues with that now. Incompatible, Okay, that's because we haven't created it yet. Oh, no, we have created it. readIdentifier. Okay, what's going wrong there then? Passing through the length and the Lexer. It's because I haven't, again, defined it above, which we'll do now. May as well do the same as well. Actually, read ident. Okay, so if we, oops. So we do that. Wait, no, that's not right. Sorry, wrong thing. Right, let's copy that. And we'll go back to the top, and we'll put this somewhere by here. Great. Okay. Hopefully now we won't have any issues. And of course, gotta sort that out. Right, but hopefully you get the general idea now, though. Again, we need to create that function. That function will allow us to check, compare the literal to different types of tokens. So let fn we need to do as well, and something else. Right, why am I getting an error with that? Okay, I'll have to double check this then. That I understand why we got an error. That and that right, these two I understand why we got an error. I'll probably comment that out now. Oh wait, hang on. Token. Maybe that's why. Did I not just define that above as well? I thought I did. Wait, no, that is what we're about to create now, but I should probably put that up here as well. So what are we returning? It's going to be, we're going to return a token type, or a token. No, a token type we're going to return. And we're calling it LookupIdent. And we are passing through a, is it a const char? I forget what we're passing through the input, which is const char. Wait, is it input? Identifier. Regardless, I think it should be that. Ident. And then we are passing through the length, which will be size t. Length. Okay, hopefully that resolves that issue. Again, declaring things in the future, it's quite nice, but it also does come up with a few errors. Okay, I don't know why. Is it because we have created readIdentifier so far, haven't we? So we pass through the Lexer and the length. Ah, no. Is it the type readIdentifier? Ah, spelling error. Is that it? I mean, there is a spelling error, but I don't know if that's, yeah, there we are. Problem solved. Okay. Do you know what? It's really rare. I was speaking to some of my students about PLSQL, and you typically, the majority of the issues you get are they're syntax related in PLSQL. In C, that's rarely the case, but I think it's just as keyboard. At least that's why the excuses that I've been given the past week. Anyway, token type. So we're going to return a token type. It's going to be, again, got to remember now, LookupInt. All right, LookupIdentifier. I can't remember what I call it now. LookupIdent, I think that's right. And we're passing through the const char ident, and we're also going to pass through size t, size t length. Awesome. Right. I think, is that going to be a pointer? That may be a pointer. So I think we're passing through the address. So, okay, that's good. Let me just create some space down here so it makes it a bit clearer. Right, okay, I just realized something as well while I was busy sneezing. There's actually a reason why we do use, believe it or not. I'm trying to think what else I need to include. What, right, fn is definitely one of them. I know that. So we'll do equals 0. We can also do binary values after as well. I just realized there's actually an error here. Right, so the reason why the person who, again, was using the code that I was basing it off, was using 3 values, which and the reason why I was getting confused is because strcmp, I believe it stands for string compare. I mean, that makes more sense. But effectively, that is only checking if 2 words are the same, effectively, including the null terminator. Whereas if you use compare, the length that you pass through alongside that, it's only going to check the length that you pass through the function, if that makes sense. It doesn't entirely make sense to me, but I think it's just avoiding the null terminator, and it's more secure. Now, again, there are more detailed explanations that you can find online. I just happened to look on Stack Overflow and found that that is that's the answer that I just kind of rolled with. I didn't want to look too much in depth, but if anyone knows in the comments, again, I'm sure it's in the man pages, but it's just something worth thinking about. Right, so I think these are the only 2, and then what we'll do then is, if it's not going to be these, we're just going to say return identifier, but we'll do this first. So let me have a look at my tokens first to just make sure we haven't got any. So we've got function, and then the other one then is just going to be the identifier, so that's fine. So we want to go these, again, we'll add Boolean values after if we need to. Not going to worry about that yet. Token type, what are we going to return? Function. Awesome. Oops. Right, token type function, that's fine. And now we'll say return identifier if it's anything else, effectively. Token type. Ident. Great. Oops, right. Okay, I think that's it, because we at the moment we don't have true, false. What else do we need? Return as well. So there's a few other things, but I think for now that is actually it. So we'll leave it at that. I did define this earlier, I believe. If we go up here. Right, now what we got to check is I forget what we got to check. No, right, string duplicate, which is, again, I don't know if there's actually an stn dupe. There is. What if I just do this? Yeah, okay, so it's probably going to be stn dupe. Okay, I should have probably looked at this beforehand, but okay, we're going to pass through the identifier, and we're going to pass through length as well, I believe. I think that's about right. Then what we need to do, I'd imagine, is return is it, I'm trying to think if we have to, because we haven't used our literal. Have we used our literal? I don't think we need it. Why have I got that literal there? Okay, well, I'm going to ignore that for a second, but I'm sure I'm going to come on to something now, but we'll just leave it for now. Token type, let's say ident. No. Return. Right, we want to do token equals. Right, okay, no, right, I think I know, I'm onto it now. So literal, literal equals, oops, string duplicate. No, have I got any errors? No, I haven't. Right, okay, that's great. Okay, and then we pass through create token. And then we're going to pass through what are we going to pass through? It's not create token, it's new token. New token, and we're going to pass through token type sign, no, ident, and also the literal as well. Okay, and I think that's it for that. Now, otherwise, do we just say return? Do we need a return in there? Because we're going to return it later, aren't we? I think that's it. I'm not too sure. There might be something we have to add here to specify if it's, because at the moment we're just going to, that's creating if it's a token. I think that's it. I think that's it. Right, I'm going to double check this. I'm going to read over it, make sure I haven't missed anything out. Have we got any errors? Doesn't look like we have. Right, I just realized that I had a very blonde moment, if you will. Effectively, what I got to do is, what I was doing is I was returning I effectively created a token, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that, but what I should have done, I believe, is token equals new token, and then instead of passing through, because I thought that I have to pass through token type ident again, but that defeats the whole purpose of what we've done before. So what I actually have to do is pass through token, which is the type of token that I've just, I mean, I could have named that something better. In the example, I think he names it type. Which makes a lot more sense looking back now, but we'll just roll with it. And then we'll just pass through literal, and then we'll do return token. I think that's fine. So again, you know, that's it really. I mean, I think we've done everything for our test. The only thing that we haven't done, which is something that we need to do now, is create, which is something I'm going to do now actually. And again, maybe in the next episode then, we can, oh, whoa, okay, we've got a lot of errors coming up here. What is this? Conflicting types. Okay, probably because I've spelled something wrong. This is because that is silly spell mistake. What have I spelled wrong? An incompatible pointer, okay. Okay, I'll have a look at that now, won't worry about it. But have I misspelled something? LookupIdent. I haven't misspelled. Right. readIdentifier. I did curious, I did that. Okay, I'm curious, why have I gone, unless the only thing I can think of is if I done something via lookup, ident. Ah, right, that might be why. Is that why? No. Oh, well, that resolved the one issue. Okay, yeah, so why is that an issue? Well, did I need to do that? Okay, I'm going to forget about that just for now. But what I need to do is create a new function, which I don't think is going to return anything, and we're going to call it, I think it's skipWhitespace. Let me just, again, check with the book. So effectively, if we would run that, okay, it's called skipWhitespace. If we were to run that now, we would get errors because, of course, it's going to it's going to pick up the white space as a bit of text that we need to put for our Lexer, which, of course, we want to avoid for now. So what we're going to do here is pass in our Lexer, and we are going to say something like, that's a good point. It's going to be something like, right, we're going to do for, I guess we can do while L char is equal to, oops, so effectively we're just going to pass through everything here that could be constituted as white space. So again, So tab, L, new line as well. I think it's actually forward space, isn't it? I think. No, it's not. Backspace. Oops. And then we're going to say read char, and then we'll pass through L there. I think that's right, but I could very well be wrong. Let's see if we get any errors. Of course we do. Expected. Ah, right. Okay. Why is it saying that? Okay. Something I'm going to have to look at is that as well. Okay. So there's two things I'm going to check out now. If we can resolve them, great. If not, we'll come back to that later. But I think, in all honesty, I think that's all we have to do before our test pass. And the only thing, again, I guess I'll scroll up for this. The only thing we have to do then is add in here something like skip whitespace, and then pass through our Lexer here, and that is it, I believe. Again, you know, we'll we'll sort out those last two issues, and hopefully then we're in good stead. Right, again, as always, turns out I am very, very stupid because I left out something so simple. In fact, by here, I don't know what I was doing. So that should resolve that issue. And up here, we don't need this. So I don't know what I was doing with that. I think I got confused because we needed to pass through a pointer to length for our readIdentifier. So we need to resolve that issue. Up here as well, did I pass through a pointer? No, I didn't. See, I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, but yeah, that should be fine. See if we got any errors. Skip whitespace. Okay, I need to declare that. Right, let's go down here. Yank that. Go back to the top. We'll remove the pointer from over here because I don't need it for this one. And we'll also then go to the next line and paste that. And we will do that. Now, I think, oops, I don't know what I've done here. Oh, no. It's like the old, right, if I do right quit. I'm playing a risky game here. Okay, there we go. It's like the old try to quit Neo or try to quit Vim meme. Right, I thought I just declared that. Skip whitespace L does not support. Did I name it something different? Ah, yes, I did. Capital letter. I don't know what I'm doing. To be fair, I did copy that though from whitespace. Okay, let's see if that resolved that error. It did, I think. Let me escape. Yep, it did. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think all we need to do now is testing, which you could probably make a start on now. But in all honesty, I'm thinking about keeping that for next video just because it makes it more interesting. I think, again, a few silly errors from this video, really. I think, again, you know, not double checking. I think you just avoid the stupid mistake, or you think you haven't made a stupid mistake. Like, I don't know how the hell I missed out the char here, and also the equal sounds just sloppy. I think this is correct as well, although I do want to double check that before we do the testing. But we haven't got any errors, and everything seems to be working or looking good. The only thing I could probably do is, you know, kind of, I would say maybe tidy things up a little bit. You know, it's a bit messy, so I might do that again, but that's something I can do in my own time. I can get rid of these comments as well, so I'll get working on that. But yeah, no, if you guys, I think we should leave it for that, you know, at that for now, for this video. So if you've got any questions, you know, if you're interested in any of this sort of stuff, then please send me please comment on the video if you've got any questions, if you've got any you know, kind of answers to my sort of questions. I guess the main one for me being something I'm going to look at. In fact, it's something we'll probably look at now. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing with that. Okay. Something we could look at now, which is something man strn cmp. So yeah, you have to pass through. Yeah, so there's two different versions. You can see there's the string compare, which is where you pass through two const chars. But then there's also the second one, which is effectively where you pass through a size t as well. The description, the string compare and strn lexicographically functions lexicographically compare the null terminated strings S1 and S2. So they both do that, which is all right. But string compare, strn compare function does not compares not more than n characters, because strn compare is designed for comparing strings rather than binary data. Characters that appear after a null terminator character are not compared. Right, okay, so it's more so, I guess it's more so to ensure you don't override or go past what you need to read, I suppose. Is that the purpose? I'm not too sure. Again, you know, your guess is as good as mine there. But yeah, no, that's it. I suppose one thing that I would like to do is go to the tests, which I think we put in main.c. Just to double check that we've got everything needed for these tests to pass. So we've got let now, we've got an identifier now, we've skipped whitespace, sign int, semicolon, all that are done. Okay, plus, so these operators, the mathematical operators, are something we haven't added. Yeah, there's a spelling error. So mathematical operators was something we hadn't added, which again, you know, is something maybe we can do in the next one, and then we'll get the test up and running then. But thank you for watching this video. As always, thank you for supporting the channel any way in which you can. If that's just watching a video, if it's dropping a like, comment, subscribing, whatever. Thank you very much. Any subscriber that I get kind of motivates me more and more to kind of make these videos, because it's a fun little hobby for me. It's something that I'm interested in that I don't get to talk to many people about. So just people kind of turning up and watching these are great for me and allow me to talk nonsense to a camera rather than to actual people, which is fantastic. Thank you for watching, and bye.